dude.
Alrighty, folks. Good morning. Happy Monday. Hope everyone had a great Independence Day weekend. I know my 4th of July was awesome. Great fireworks. Horrible fried food. I'm typically so good about watching what I eat, and this 4th of July, I was like, screw it. Oh, had the best little rack of ribs. And these like ribbon fries, like ribboned off potatoes that were amazing. Oh, and it was fried, and I'm paying for it. I think that's why I'm so groggy this morning. I was talking to Sean in the Discord before starting this thing, and I was like, man, I'm so groggy. And normally I'm not that groggy because I don't eat like that. So real careful about that kind of thing. So, pop over the chat. We got Sean. We got Gina. Jesus, Finnegan barked at the fireworks. Of course he did. Of course he did. Alright, so, what's on tap for today, Mimigos? We have... Let's see. Let me back this down a little bit. Okay. And we are going to go live here with some Zbrush and working on a Centaur, which I've done Centaurs before, so I'm starting with a sculpt that I already had that I've dynameshed down a bit, because if I don't have to reinvent the wheel, I ain't gonna. So the idea here is a Centaur warrior. So I'm going back and starting from. I used to have these human figures out, which I think they're still included in Poser, although some nefarious individuals may have stripped them out just out of spite. But I will leave the internals of the business like that aside for today. I'll just put a pin in that because some people don't like me. Anyway, you know who you are. But I've had some free human figures out off and on for a long time, and in the course of those, I've made add-ons and things for them, and I've done a lot of different sculpts from them. So I'm going to start from a basis of that, and I also have a horse. There's a horse for Poser that I never released, so I'm just working from those things. Line those up and tossed them on in to into Zbrush, and so we can go from there. I do want to. I'm tempted to replace my human dude here with my new 3D printing, like my new buck made for miniatures. So I think I might just do that real quick. Just cause, let's see, base human minis. Yeah, let's grab that. We'll send this guy over to here. There we go. All right. So you'll have a little different proportions from a straight up human male. You know, something that's more realistic. So I'm going to take this as just an opportunity to play with that a little bit. And let's delete hidden there. And then just lop some of this stuff off. Okay. And then I want to make that bigger and move it on down here so it makes a little more sense. I always hate it when centaurs, you know, the proportions don't quite make sense. Okay. So now I'm going to, which way do I want to go with this? Let's go in here and close up my holes. And then, shall I Dynamesh? I need to crank that resolution up. Okay. And then, since this should already be Dynameshed. Okay. There we go. I don't want that on. Let's just smooth that so that faceting goes away. And then I want to hidden and then Dynamesh that. Now let's just put these together like so. And then I'm going to merge them. Let's merge down. And if I Dynamesh that again, we should have a nice combination of those. Then in Sculptress mode, I'm going to go through and just blend that stuff together. Now we can start to sculpt on it. This is one of those nice moments where if you have good bucks for things, you have, you know, a catalog of sculpts you've done, then you can use those to get a jump start on lots of things, which I have no problem with. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. So now I can focus on getting some character sculpted into this, just adding little bits and pieces and focusing on those shapes that I want to focus on. Nice jump start to everything. I want to really kind of really go nuts with it. You should be a big badass here. Smooth some of that back. Work on that edge of the rib cage, diaphragm area there. I'm really trying to hone myself into sculpting more towards what I know I need for miniatures on some of this. Some ideas, though, it's so hard not to want to just go nuts on like the crazy details and stuff, you know. There's an interesting flow to the way the pectoral to deltoid muscles work that I always enjoy. Let's take a look and see who we have in the chat with us this morning. Overboard's here. Hey, Overboard DM joining us. If you folks haven't, go check out his channel. Also, any of you guys who are hanging out in the chat, if you have a website or YouTube channel or anything you'd like to point folks to, feel free. Very cool with self-promotion. God knows I got to do enough of it myself. Move that back a little bit. I feel like we're making some pretty good progress going through this whole D&D series. Well into the C's now. I'm liking how it's going. Oh my god, I just realized this guy needs some traps and he needs a neck. Put a neck on this dude. Just got word this weekend that my local bookstore is finally going to be carrying the trade paperback of my comics. So, kind of happy about that. I will forgive them for taking a little while to get to it. At least you're getting there, so. If you folks are ever in Moorhead, Kentucky, be sure to go check out Coffee Tree Books and the Fuzzy Duck Cafe. I love that place. Even if it did take me a year to get my books in. He needs more lats. Big lats. Strong lats. Urgh. Okay. Come in here and define under these arms a little better. gets in here, then I know will be good once it gets set up to go print and everything. So I'm digging what we got right there. So sorry there's not a little more push on the horse itself. I just I'm gonna be more polite with that horse junk. Like I said, I started with a sculpt I already had. So because, you know, like I said, why reinvent the wheel on it, you know? And I do want to thicken some stuff up on here, make it a little stronger for a mini, and make that stuff kind of able to print a little better. Also make it a little sturdier. And going to inflate this tail area so I can go ahead and have plenty of volume there to sculpt a nice tail out of. So let's turn that on. Now then, use mostly my damn standard here. I'm gonna get these strandy feeling things kind of carved in. And then when that's all done, I can come in and push and pull on it and give it a little more volume. Oh, crashed it. I gotta remember to turn off Sculptress before I hit that contrast delta. Yep. Close it up. Hope it didn't autosave because I hadn't saved yet. Oh, Gina's asking if that's a place I took her to when she was here. Probably talking about Coffee Tree and Fuzzy Duck. But yes, it is. Typically, anybody comes to Moorhead, I take them to Coffee Tree and Fuzzy Duck. Thank you, Zbrush, for saving my work. That was mighty kind of you. Now let's see if we can use a contrast delta on that. There we go. That's better. Yeah, that's a mental note. Don't use contrast delta if you have the Sculptress mode turned on. Okay. Now then, the fun stuff. Let's work on his face a little bit. Give him a little more character. I think I want to go in and kind of carve on it a little bit first. Just to get some details and things added in. Kind of define some stuff here. probably going to come back through and have little things I can add on to this to make like a beard and other stuff like that. But I'm trying some different methods of being able to swap that stuff in and out for minis so that I can have the ability to print my miniatures with a lot more variety. Have different configurations that I'll offer. Even though those kind of cuts right there look huge for, compared to the kind of work I usually do, for minis, that stuff is pretty solid. You kind of need to exaggerate stuff so that at the smaller scale you still can see details. It's one of the weirdest things to get used to about sculpting for miniatures. Look at that, will probably come out as a pretty good looking miniature face. Now let's carve down into this neck a little bit, finish adding some details here. Give him the chest I hope to have one day. Little nippies. Not sure how well that'll hold up in the end, but I do like having that kind of stuff in there. Alright, let's thicken that torso up a little bit. Cool. Digging that quite a bit. Okay, now the fun stuff. I'm gonna go with something kind of like that. And let's go ahead and do a quick Z-remesh on that. It's not entirely necessary, but I think I'll save that just to have off to the side as beard to use on my base human male there for these things. I think it would be useful to keep that around. So, learn to type, man. Go ahead and make a folder. Keep that stuff in. Got rid of my folder. So I'm going to duplicate that. Put that up here above it. Let's take our Z modeler and we will do extrude, polygroup all. Come out here with that. Masked it. Shrink it back. Now I'm going to just use the move brush to pull the volume of that. Let's turn off sculptress mode so we can smooth that a little bit without it doing wonky stuff to the topo. Okay. Let's subdivide that once. I'm going to delete lower. And let's mask that stuff off. And I'm going to inflate that so that it goes to the inside of our... Actually, scale that so that it intersects inside that underlying mesh. A little smoothing, that's going to help blend it all together. And then from there, I'm going to grab my damn standard, go into sculptress mode, and start to sculpt in some details. Again, I'm keeping in mind how small this is going to be, you know. You almost want to sort of stylize that stuff. Compared to the high-res stuff I'm used to doing for all these years, you know, there's some interesting differences. Some things about this are super forgiving, and it's kind of a nice break. Some things about it are definitely not forgiving in the least. So I think every type of sculpting, you know, all the different work that goes into any of this stuff, it all has its own little eccentricities. And you kind of figure those out as you're going along. I'm really digging that. Now let's alt click on this guy and go back to him. And I'm going to come in and paint some masking here. It's going to give me a start for some hair. See how I'm doing on times. I got like half hour left. So I'll extract that. And oh, I forgot I still had the beard stuff on there. That's okay. Let's just hide it. And then delete hidden. And we're going to Z-remesh that by half. Do it a couple times. Same on this a couple times. Wax that once and see what we get. Okay, I think that'll work out pretty well. So let's come in here and scale it down so it goes inside his scalp, and then we're going to extrude that way out. And then smooth it back. I'm going to take a move brush, pull this down, let's give him a nice long head of hair here. And I don't really care if that intersects, because in the end I'm going to use a Boolean mesh operation to join it all together anyway. It's very liberating. This is like the only kind of work where I will do that either, because typically Booleans just make garbage. Boolean operations in most software do nothing but make garbage. And it makes garbage in here too. It's no different, but it's you know, when the kind of mesh that's made from Booleans is perfectly fine for 3D printing. So that's one of the ways that it's a little more forgiving. And I'm going to go in kind of the same, actually not the same way. I'm going to use my clay buildup, come in and add some little bit more volume going around. Working in sculptress mode here again. So if I work from the bottom up, then those strokes are going to create those layers sitting on top. It's kind of handy. That's the way that's going. There we go. It's got more of a flow to it that I can get into. There we go. That hair shaped in there. probably getting a little too granular with those details on the hair, so I need to zoom out and pay more attention to the larger shapes that it makes, because a lot of that will just get lost if I'm not careful. It's better to have a few really strong shapes that pop out than a lot of small stuff. And you're going to go to printing the way I am with these. Pop my neck. Right. So I'm digging that. Let's clear off that masking. Okay, how we doing on time? Cool. Get about 15 to 20 minutes left. And in that time, I'm going to add some other important stuff to this guy. Start doing a little bit of costuming on him. I think I want to add some nice thick gloves on here. Up to about there. And then I'm also going to add, let's do some pauldrons. And yeah, do some pauldrons, and then we're going to add nice crisscrossing straps here. Okay. And then I'm thinking too that some kind of frontal armor right here would be kind of neat. Let's just get enough masked off there to be able to pull something out of that. Something there, and then maybe something right here. Something on the back. And let's do maybe something coming down here. I don't know. I mean, it's fantasy stuff, so that's part of the fun of it, is you can just play with it, you know. Let's give this guy some armor going down the side here. Maybe we'll end up making that hang off a bit. I think that'd be kind of neat. Yeah, let's do that. I can see that going someplace interesting. We'll give him armor coming off these flanks. And then let's add some stuff down the front. And we'll just take our lasso here and kind of contour that stuff around. Now come back with our pen and we'll add some masking to make little straps. Some of that may end up going away or coming back later, who knows. Going away and then getting remade. Okay. I feel like that's got a good layout, good approach to some stuff. just add a couple little strips in there just to make it make sense. As much as a centaur can make sense. I mean, they are kind of asinine creatures, but whatever. They look cool, and that's what matters. Alright. And we would extract and accept. Here's what we've got. Let's see. So now I'm going to split some of this stuff off so that we can work a little more organization. And let's start with this chest piece right here. Go ahead and check the time. Okay. Go ahead and Z-remesh that by half. Keep doing that, bring that resolution down where we can work with it easier. Okay. And from there, I think I'm going to start making some cuts. I'm just going to do those on this side. Okay. That's pretty cool. Don't mirror and weld that. Don't like how that came out. Let's just mirror and weld that. I'm going to unweld groups borders. So morph target, polish it, and then work that back. My slider. So now we'll have nice separated groups of this stuff. And then we're going to Z-remesh that a couple times. Set the same so it does the same poly count. I also think I want to get rid of this area right here. Now we will remesh that. Oh yeah, much better. Much, much better. So I like that shape quite a bit. Now from there, I'll take the Z modeler and see we're set to move. And I want to turn on snap to surface. So then you'll be able to just move those vertices like so and have them snap right to my subtool there of the figure. I'm going to move those up to where I know they're just going to be under those pauldrons. Okay. Now then, let's extrude the pauldrons. I'll make them nice and thick so that they really stand out. I'm going to extrude the outer edge that created. Then I'm going to change my extrusion to do poly loop, and we're going to pull that guy there out so that again we get this nice lifted edge. And I am going for almost a Warhammer sort of look here, so I'm not doing a ton of small surface details really. I really want that to just pop out as a nice solid shape. Okay, so now let's do another extrude poly group all. Pull this guy out. And before I do that, I think I'm going to polish that once. And then mask it. So let's pull this stuff up. And I've made the straps a little thinner there, but that's because I'm going to extrude them like this. Give them a good distance. Let's do that isolated. Also, just because I'm anal retentive about it, I want to get rid of this junk up here. Got some junk in the topo. It's not hugely important here, but you know, it's like if you can fix it, then you should. Okay. So now I want to extrude this. Then I'm going to extrude that outer edge that created. And see, now we get our thickness back. And now I can go to poly loop. That's going to have a nice tight, clean edge around it there. Now let's just add that stuff. Group what's left. Should be able to come together and have that as a nice inset. Oh, no, 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 no. Not yet, not yet, not yet. Danger, danger, pull out. Almost forgot. I need to do that bottom edge too. Aha. There we go. Now let's group all that. There we go. So now by having this group isolated like this, that gives me a lot of options here. Like I can, one of the things I'm definitely going to do with this is do an inset on this poly group. Set that standard. And that's going to harden up that edge inside there. Called a hold loop. Okay. And then, what else do we want to do on this? So much. Well, let's go ahead and pull this stuff out. Tweak that shape a little bit right there. Once it's subdivided, I think that'll work out really well. And then I'm going to go to my brushes and let's grab insert for some primitives. And let's grab a sphere. And I'm going to plug a sphere in right here. And then flatten it like so. Make that kind of huge. Okay. I'm going to close a hole on that. Nope, 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 nope. There we go. I'll turn off my perspective before I do the flattening on that. Clip planing. It's still being wonky. Okay, fine. Fine. You want to be that way? Here. We'll do you a different way then. I win. Haha. Alright. So now we'll close the hole on that. And I definitely want that pushed deep enough that it'll go all the way into him. That way it all merges as a nice smooth mesh. So let's do this. Let's just mask that new interior section. And I'll just use my transpose to pull an extrusion of that all the way into the interior of the figure. Now then, let's add an edge loop in there. And that's going to give me I'm going to create a little bit of a bevel in here. So let's take our Z modeler, an edge loop. I just accidentally duplicated that tool. Didn't mean to do that. All right, shrink that selection. And then we can extrude that in like so. And just to pretty this up a little bit more, let's extrude that in, but not quite so far. Then I'm going to add an inset so it holds. And then I think I'm going to do vertex splits. Create these little guys right here. They're going to allow me to make some easy little spikes out of those. So let's do a merge similar groups. Okay. And now we're going to extrude those. And I'm going to extrude that edge group that made. And we'll reduce our selection a little bit and do some smoothing over those. And I think that'll hold up really well in a mini. Yeah, that should hold up nicely. Now I'm going to take this entire object we just made here, mask it, and invert my mask, control, click and drag, turn everything this way. Now I'm just going to rotate that 90 degrees after centering my transpose. I feel like that's going to give us something nice for his back. Okay. Just a few minutes left. Let's see now how quickly we can get through this. So I want to delete by symmetry. Then I'm going to use my slice curve quite a bit right here. Turn on double-sided so I can kind of eyeball where the outer edge of this is. And I'm going to put a nice thick cut right here. Then another one right here. And another one right here. And another one right here. And what these are going to do, they're going to give me these cool shapes here that I can then extrude or inset. Okay, let's go ahead and inflate all of this so that it sits just over top of him. His mesh right there. I think I'm going to do one more set of cuts on it. There we go. And out of curiosity, I'm just going to see what Z-Remesher will do to that if I have my keep groups turned on. And set it to half. Fully expected to tear this all to pieces. It's actually not bad. It's surprisingly acceptable. Especially for what I want it for. Yeah, I can live with that. Totally live with that. Let's do it again, see what it does. Even better. Even better. Nice, nice, nice. The reason I want that, and the reason I want to get that topo down nice and low like this, so that, first off, it's going to make what I'm about to do much more manageable. And it's going to make the lines super, super clean. Okay, so I'm going to close the hole on that. And then I'm going to extrude that poly group. And extrude the group. Let's do this isolated. We'll extrude that, and we'll extrude the edge group that it made. And then switch off the poly loop. And pull that out. Pull that out. Okay. Then I think I want to skip to this one and do extrude poly group all. And then I'm going to extrude a poly loop right here. And another one right here. And we'll just corral all that together as a group. And then let's do let's extrude poly group here. And then let's do this a little differently. There we get a nice tight loop around that. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Sort of. Oh, let's fix that. Collapse that edge. There we go. Now, extrude that poly group. And be careful about that. Let's do an extrude poly loop right there. There we go. Pull that out. Maybe we'll pull one out right there, just get some extra detail in that. So there we have a pretty decent looking glove. And it's a nice low polygon count. I'm going to mirror and weld that. And then I'm going to subdivide all that a couple times. And that's how we're going to get some of this stuff able to show back up in here. Just sculpting a few little contours in. I am digging that. And we are at 10:05. Let's see. Don't pop up over the chat. Let's see. Wonder if the lower straps would just ride up his back after a little bit. That's overboard. Yes, I just need to wait till you're done. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Sometimes you can't quite tell what I'm doing until it's a little further along. So I will probably revisit quite a bit on this guy off stream as I get him ready to go into my growing catalog of miniature printable sculpts. So I think this guy will make a great piece, especially once I have him all rigged up where I can pose him and then add weapons and stuff on. And I'd say we'll end up with I'll probably end up with about 5 variations on him. With different horse body poses, different upper body poses, things like that. And yeah, that'll be kind of cool. So anyway, that's going to bring us to a close for this morning. Let's do our the mandatory morning turntable. So there we go. And that gives me a nice piece to work from for building centaurs. So, make sure we go save this guy. And of course, I will have to do a female counterpart to him at some point. But that satisfies my goal of moving further through the monster manual. So, moving right along with it, guys. Moving right along with it. Alright, if we have any questions or thoughts, let's pop back over. So, I'm going to take a quick look in the chat. You guys got anything you want to ask or talk about before I close it up this morning? Just let me know. Otherwise, we are ready to wrap this one up. So that is your morning stream for July 5th. Again, hope you guys all had a great Independence Day weekend. As always, let's see. Sean, nice. Always leave to Sean. I guess you could say you're trotting along. Yeah, we're trotting, man. We're trotting. All right. So we still have coffee. Yay. Nice. Good times. So, thanks again, everybody, for hanging out, watching the stuff. Remember, as always, like, share, subscribe. I got 3 of you in the chat. Like, share, and subscribe. 3 of you, hit 3 more of you. We get some more people watching. That's great. That's what we need. I want to be able to get more people seeing the stuff, seeing what we got going on, and getting them ready for when we start to drop minis and STLs on the new site, on the new store, as well as when we roll out some of the Kickstarters and things that are coming up. We are working with some really cool folks to bring together some interesting projects and do some pretty wild stuff in the next year. And hope you guys can, you guys are here at the ground floor of that. Appreciate the help. Appreciate all the shares and everything you can give us, because, that's what's going to help make this stuff a success. So, anyway, like, share, subscribe, ring the little bell, and, we'll be back here tomorrow morning at 9:05. Thanks, guys.